Welcome to A Re Buwe, an election series by SNL24. My name is Andiswa, and if, like me, you're still undecided on who to vote for on the 29th of May, this is the show for you. We'll be sitting down and getting candid with political party leaders, and today, we've got someone who broke the glass ceiling when it came to entrepreneurship during apartheid, and then he got into politics as the mayor of the bustling city of Joburg. Now he's the president of Action SA. They claim they're going to fix the country, but can they? Hi, Mr. Mashaba.
Hi, Andiswa. Wonderful. Thank you for the introduction.
How are you?
I did not just really break the mold of with my entrepreneurial journey. I think it's interesting that even in politics, look at Action SA during the 2021 local government elections when all the polls, all the clever people said we're a stock fell. We contested as a logo, becoming the sixth biggest political party in South Africa at a national level. Only contesting 6 municipalities out of 278. You've got to ask yourself what to expect in 2024.
You joined politics in 2016. What actions have you taken that make you feel like you are capable of governing South Africa?
Well, I think, what's interesting, and I keep telling this to people, they don't believe, some don't believe, but people closer to me, they know it is true. When I accepted to be the mayoral candidate for the City of Johannesburg, I had no clue whatsoever what a mayor does. I had no clue.
Okay.
I didn't even know where our offices are. I didn't, in fact, even know, and I've always been a voter. I didn't know who my local councillor here, where I live, who the local councillor was, and so forth. And these are things I used to take for granted, but I've never missed any vote since 1994. And I managed to unseat the ANC in the first round of my campaign in 2016 and had to run a seven-way coalition arrangement. And fortunate enough, if one looks at my tenure as the mayor of the city of Johannesburg, for some reason, when I actually what demonstrated this was when I uncovered a secret meeting between the DA and ANC to have a motion of no confidence against me. And when I made this public, and people thought I was joking, and eventually I resigned. From the time I made the announcement that in the event these people in the DA come back into the DA, I can't work with right-wing elements, so I'm going to resign. And for some reason, all of a sudden, honestly, I did not realize the impact my tenure as a mayor had made, not only people of Johannesburg, because people throughout the country called on me on radio stations, writing to me, phoning everywhere on social media, asking me to start my own political party. But then I think when I had to really prepare my closing report as a mayor so that whoever comes in can know what we've achieved, that's when I realized the impact I had made as a mayor of the city of Johannesburg, fighting corruption, putting in skilled people to run the administration, in sourcing people who were exploited by tenderpreneurs, um, capacitating the police. Yeah, I'm sure you're aware. If not, to be aware. When I was the mayor, I was giving monthly crime stats. I used to have a press press conference every month to account to people of Johannesburg in terms of crime levels, including how many of our own people, be the police or corrupt officials, we have we have arrested or reported to the police for arrest for corruption and breaking the laws of the country. So I think I've got a track record also of managing a seven-way coalition arrangement, someone completely coming out of a non-political environment, coming from a commercial capitalist world. But I was able to run a very stable, reasonably stable coalition. And I think such experience, without any doubt, that's what's really helping me with running Action SA.
How would you be able to manage it or maintain it? Because now it's at a bigger level than what you used, than what you're used
Yeah,
to.
sure. I think we must accept that coalitions are difficult to run, not only in South Africa, all over the world, because all the political parties, if you look at all the Western world democracies, developed democracies, the running coalition, it's not easy. Because once you get into a coalition arrangement, it's something that was forced upon you by the voters. You don't go into a coalition because you want to go into a coalition. For us as Action SA, we are unapologetic about this. We want to win outright. That's when we go out there. We want to govern on our own out, and the only way we can govern on our own. That means we've got to win outright. But one needs to really be realistic. Can we, a four-year-old party, manage to get outright majority? I think I'll be smoking something. I accept the fact that coalition, South Africa has entered an era of coalition. And I really strongly believe, all actioners, we strongly believe, the only way South Africa is going to have a stable coalition arrangement, Action SA has to really be the biggest party in this arrangement. We're not going to go into a coalition with an attitude or the arrogance that it's our way or no highway. So we are going to accommodate others. And when you respect other political parties in a coalition arrangement, I lived that over 3 years in the city of Johannesburg. Can it be repeated? Absolutely believe it can be. Will it be easy? Absolutely not.
You've also previously tried to clean up the hijacked buildings in the Joburg CBD, and I know that you are still trying to reclaim and repurpose the hijacked buildings, but that has proven to be deadly. Where do you even begin to clean up those buildings? What's the plan?
And we don't have a choice. If we need to create a massive, to deal with the housing backlog in this country, we need to reclaim these hijacked, derelict buildings. We don't have a choice. We cannot let our cities become slums when we have the private sector that can build affordable accommodation and revive the cities. And that's something we are committed to as Action SA at a national level. But we need law and order. We need law enforcement agencies behind our initiatives. We believe and recognize is that this country was built at the back of migrants, and we want to continue. The only way we can develop this economy and make South Africa a prosperous nation, people of the world needs to come here, to come and invest, come and enjoy the beauty of our country, or come and live here. But they must come here legally, and when they're here, they must respect our law. It's a common practice all over the world. South Africa is not going to be made a test or to see if South Africa can prosper in an environment of chaos. And that's not what we are going to allow.
Action SA's manifesto says it's going to focus on 9 priority intervention areas. So how does the party plan to address these matters, persistent issues, by the way, of inequality, lack of access to quality education, economic opportunities? How are you guys planning on addressing all these things?
Well, let me just give you an example. I've already touched on some of the economic drivers. As I said, we will reclaim these factories and the cities because once you start redeveloping them, you can imagine the construction boom. Construction industry is always everywhere in the world is one of the big employers of people. We have to address the issue of this what are called draconian labor laws. We need to relax our labor laws to allow entrepreneurs, SMMEs, to be able to employ people, those who want to work for them, without having to be subjected to the CCMAs and what are called draconian laws. So that's how you develop the economy. But you can't develop the economy if you don't have the rule of law. You've got to be brutal, be unapologetic in dealing with criminality, because you can't grow the economy in an environment of chaos.
And another problem that South Africans are currently facing are the power outages, the energy crisis that we have right now. What concrete steps is your party planning on taking to make sure that there is electricity supply?
Well, I think electricity supply, I think electricity is not a new technology. Countries much bigger than us, countries with over 1 billion people, they've got constant, uninterrupted electricity supply. This country, before 1994, had uninterrupted electricity supply. Obviously, at the time, targeted at a small minority, all whites and a few black areas. What we needed to do, taking over in 1994, was to put in professional people to run ESCOM, firstly. And secondly, allow the private sector to also be the players in the supply of electricity. Allow municipalities, with the sun that we have in this country, allow the private sector to create their own grid in different communities and different areas.
How does your party plan on tackling corruption effectively, that is?
I declared publicly that we'll declare corruption public enemy number one. How we do that? We've got to establish Chapter 9 institutions, like the Scorpions, bring them back. And the leadership of these institutions must be totally independent of political interference. Cannot have a situation where the head of the NPA or the head of the Scorpions must report to the president. What for? They must report to Parliament. They must be able to prosecute without any fear or favor. We must, as Action SA, we're going to push to have corruption as treason. Any cases of corruption must carry a minimum of 15 years in jail without any chance of ever getting parole, so that our children can see that prison under Action SA is not the place to go to.
Got it. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for watching this episode of A Re Buwe. Let us hope this has helped you make your decision if you are still deciding. Thank you so much. Join us as we speak to another one of our political leader parties on our next episode.